It was a really unusual kind of moment to see the person who was your dad growing up, but was now a stranger to you 15 years later. And I'll never forget what he decided to tell my son the only time he ever talked to him. It was the last time I ever talked to my dad. He looked at my son and he goes, I don't know what he told you, but he was only average. And when he said that, those words just exploded inside of my soul. But what really bothered me was not that he chose to tell my son that his dad was just average, or that he chose to tell me in our last conversation that I was just average. What really bothered me is that he was telling the truth. In fact, if anything, he might have been exaggerating. I was never average. I was never that good. I never quite became what everyone thought I might become, but then no one really thought I would become much, so I never really disappointed them. Have you ever felt as if you were just average, but you were trying to be more? People expected more from you, so you work and you work and you struggle and you struggle, but in your soul you feel like there's nothing special inside of you. But then you have this other part of you that feels torn, because even though you feel like you're just average, there's this other thing inside of you that hopes there's something special inside of you. And I walked away that day asking myself the question, am I satisfied living a life that's just average? Or maybe worse than that, am I satisfied living a life that someone else wants for me and not the life that God created for me? See, I think a lot of us live our lives under obligation rather than with intention. See, I think what is causing pain inside of some of you is that you're trying to become what you think everyone else wants you to become. You're spending all your energy trying to be someone else that's not you. And so you're terrified that the you inside of you will never be allowed to come to life. It's amazing how you can feel as if your life has been wasted so quickly. But I want you to know that with God, nothing's wasted. I think the point of Moses' story is that even if it takes you that long to get into the story God created you to live, with God, nothing's wasted. God, I need someone to heal me. I have all this brokenness inside of me. Don't you think God knew how broken Moses was? Don't you think God saw 80 years of wounds all over the soul of Moses, and yet God chose to take a wounded individual and use them to become the healer of a people? See, I want you to know that God will use all of your wounds to make you a healer of others. You may feel like, God, I just been through too much. I have too much pain. God, I have all this anger, all this bitterness inside of me. God, I have all this rage inside of me. God, I have all this disappointment in my life. And you may be here, you feel like I'm just too broken for God to ever do anything with me. But I want you to know that with God, there's nothing wasted.